Hey guys, welcome back to the News Coup Crew podcast. This is chapter 1056, Cross Guild. I'm your host, Christian. Joining me is my co-host,
Jesse.
And we are here to bring you the final arc of One Piece. So let's get into it. Cross Guild. Now, Jesse, it's no mystery to people who watch us and from the stuff that we've talked about so far that we read the chapter ahead of time.
Of course.
Before we sit down to talk about this, and we are actually sitting down about a week, actually exactly a week after the official release for this chapter already. And you know what? Anything to say, Jesse, or should we just jump right into it?
I say we jump right into it.
I'm thinking as well. All right, so our opening, our panel on the front, still covering the Germa in Whole Cake Island. We got Katakuri and Oven attacking our 4 Germa siblings. Cold-Blooded Voyage, Volume 15. Katakuri and Oven spring into action. Germa 66's Cold-Blooded Voyage, Volume 15. Katakuri and Oven spring into action. All right. I've really been enjoying to see what's been going on with them.
I do too.
Yeah.
I kind of missed it. I thought that was a really pleasing arc.
Yeah, Whole Cake was fun. It felt a little long, but it was fun. I think overall it was pretty fun.
Yeah.
All right. Right into it. The way we've started, I feel like most chapters at this point, the flower capital. But this time, after the festivities.
After. We finally finished celebrating.
Yes, and we can see that something has happened to Raizo and Shinobu. And they are all pondering it as we see Raizo and Shinobu have been the super sucked. As we recall from our previous chapter with Ryokogyu showing off that he, like Crocodile, has the super suck.
He does.
Yeah. So they go on to deliberate into Kaido's presence did keep other threats at bay, specifically what they said here, as something that Ryokogyu mentioned, how they're free to just be kind of trampled.
Yep. I thought that this was really interesting because Kaido as a presence was terrifying for everyone involved. But specifically that, like, this is why, we thought, like, oh, it's a roaming island. It's, like, difficult to get to. It's difficult to high walls. But no, it was Kaido. It was Kaido himself.
Yeah, Kaido was the biggest deterrent, especially with big powers like Logia is able to traverse any climate anyway. Yep. As we can see, we have the red scabbards still all together. Nice to see Kinemon asking for forgiveness as he was not present during this battle that just happened. So, I guess this is just a nice little wrap-up. I know we went into like deeper detail on scene by scene in previous ones, but I don't think that's too necessary.
No.
We know this.
This is the goodbyes.
Yeah, this is the
goodbyes, which it was very heartwarming. We spent a lot of time in Wano, so I didn't, necessarily think that this was bad because it's nice to see all the loose ends kind of, being addressed.
Absolutely, and Kinemon's steadfast wife who stuck by despite his disappearance for 20 years. He even mentions it, saying that Suru is as gorgeous as ever. Even after 20 years, I almost said 40 years. All right. Yep, and they're all just kind of palling around. Our top minks here saying that even Puppy Love isn't that sappy, and we can see the nice, what we will hear as being the cat's unique laugh when it actually comes across in the anime. And poor Raizo. Didn't realize he could talk while he was all emaciated like that. I wish I were popular. Then we move into a character who was traveling with us for a while through Whole Cake Island, like you had mentioned, liking being there, and she was a big part of it for us. She introduced a very cool thing, which was the Sulong form for the minks. Yep. As she says, in questioning, in expletive, what's up? You summoned me. And with nothing, no pomp and circumstance, just drops, oh, you'll be the next ruler of the Mokomo Dukedom.
Like, just casually. Oh, by the way, you're just going to be the ruler now.
And reasonably so, she flips out with, wait, ruler? No way. I can't possibly take charge. As we see our minks have decided to stay in Wano and are letting her know and letting the people know through her that they intend to stay to serve as the Kozuki retainers and protect Momonosuke now that we know there are all these threats out there still. They call to her praises here. They talk about how she traveled with Luffy and the others and that she has what it takes to lead the next generation. And all of these other people are jumping up behind her, those 3 musketeers, Inurashi's, as well as Wanda.
It's a nice segue. We see everyone kind of in Kaido, after Kaido, we see everyone passing their torch, right? We see everyone coming into their own, except for the minks. And I guess this was a nice little segue to be like, hey, don't forget about us, you know?
Yeah, it is nice. So we see a nice big picture of Zoe and a declaration that the Zoe is being left to the youngsters as, I assume, you scroll down a little bit more. Yes, both the Kozuki children have now met Kozuki Sukiyaki, the grandfather who we've been regaled with and surprised by the underwater Wano city. And they are just talking through, getting those family bonds back together. And then something lovely, which is, just to read through it, Kozuki says, "So I take it the rest of you really did know about me. Wearing a Tengu mask outside of a festival is odd, so we knew you were no ordinary swordsmith," says Kawamatsu. "We didn't think it was our place to expose you. Forgive me for putting you in that position." They're all just kind of palling around while Kinemon thinks to himself, and then we have a nice single panel for just him in his internal thoughts as something that was quirky about him previously that I was hoping would come back around again, and I love that it is here. And he was Sukiyaki-sama all along? Oh, Lord, my Lord, what a shock. I am glad he is well. Just bringing me right back to when Denjiro revealed himself, and it was just like, Kinemon thought all this ahead.
No.
Oh, man. This is actually something, a trope that is actually big in a series that we're probably going to be starting soon, Overlord.
Oh.
Yeah, this trope of
everyone knows this except for this person.
The person, yes.
Yeah.
One person in particular just is never clued in, but everyone thinks they are. Everyone's like, oh,
everyone's
this guy's...
like, of course. Everyone knew that.
Of course. So we see that Sukiyaki explains himself that he wanted to stay hidden because it was moving on to the next generation. There's no reason for him to be part of this now that the era has moved. And then we cut to our Straw Hats, and particularly Frankie, as he is shocked to find out from Robin that Pluton is in this country. And seeing that it really does exist, we finally have the whole gang back together. Absolutely love to see it. Luffy brings up that the Pluton's prints were destroyed. And it's a ancient weapon named after God, Robin says, asking if Luffy wants it. And in classic Luffy fashion...
Why would he want it?
Why the hell would he want that?
I'm good.
Absolutely not. No need for it.
That's a cheat. He doesn't want that. That's an easy way out.
Yeah, no. We go the hard way.
Or no way.
I thought you'd say that still. I can't help but wonder, why would Odin want to unleash it? We come back to that idea that we were trying to discuss in the previous chapter of what was all this about? And I'm sure it'll keep coming up, and I'm excited to see it. Speaking of excited to see it, Shinobu has recovered from being emaciated and is now a lovely woman.
Young and spry again.
Young and spry. Did you say that mature ladies are alluring ancient weapons? Oh, wow. Even using some, I guess it would be, I don't think it'd be appropriate, right? This right here, glow up. I feel like glow up is a recent term, right?
I think that might have been like colloquially translated.
Yeah, true. Oh, like some sort of slang over there.
Yeah, gotcha. Where it's like that's our closest translation for it.
It's a glow up, yes. And then, of course, they're looking at Shinobu's apprentice, our little Otama. She was one of the MVPs of the war. She was able to turn a lot of the gifters to our side because of her weird little fruit. And then suddenly, the man who appears in a single panel once every 100 chapters, Caribou's here, and now he's knowing about Pluton being in Wano. So... What's his deal? Why is he here? What is this about? Why do we got to deal with him? Why is he
always
around?
Why do we have to deal with him every 100 chapters or so?
Yeah,
is
what
my
the heck?
question.
Get him out of here. We don't need this guy. We don't need Mucky Boy. Gross slime guy. All right, well, enough about him because, again, we only see him once every 100 chapters, and now he's doing nothing again. So a few days later, it seems that Momonosuke is running the city appropriately. People love him. They're calling him the Shogun. And he is just kind of determinedly moving through the space as he goes to find, there it is, Zoro. Can you teach me? Huh? Wait, Luffy? Zoro? Onami?
And a panicked rush.
Usopp? Sanji? Chaporemon? Robin? Frankie? Bonekichi? Jinbei? Yamato? Where is everyone? Finally, he finds someone. but not a Straw Hat, finds his sister as she's playing her, I forget the name of the instrument.
I'm bad at it. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And it came up a lot.
Yeah.
They said the name very specifically a lot of times, and I can't remember.
3-string guitar.
Yeah. Well, there she is, and she's saying that everyone's leaving. They're already leaving. As Kinemon finally enters the scene, it's like, oh no, I also am not clued into things, as is his character trait. So neither of them know where anything is, where anyone is. Like, where are our friends? Well, cut to our 3 major ships, a submarine, the Going Sunny, and whatever Kid's ship is, as we get a nice double page seeing all 3 of the captains discuss where their log poses are pointing. Now, do remind that everyone's path is determined by their log pose and setting their magnetic coordinates. So each of these people could be going different places and end up in the same place at the same time, or et cetera, et cetera. Same place, different time, what have you. We could see Law, he's out, northeast. However, Kid and Luffy are both talking about going also to the east, but in the middle, so just straight east. So they would still be traveling in the same direction, but slightly askew. So maybe we'll finally get to see Luffy and Kid interact outside of the 2 times there's been a 3-person team up.
Fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the only time we've ever seen him really interact is in the prison, and then when there's a 3-person team up between these exact 3 characters. Also, look at that arm vein on Kid. That's insane.
That's because he's always tense. He's always stressed.
I mean, he's compensating. He can't flex his other arm.
Exactly.
I do absolutely love his design with the metal
So
arm
do
and
I.
everything.
Yeah. They put a lot of work into every time he's on screen, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
They have fun with his costume. Everyone else is, pretty static, but he's able to, change.
Yes. I do love that now both Law and Kid have the, classic pirate captain overcoats now.
Yes.
Absolutely love it.
Draped over their shoulders, not an arm through either of them.
Nope, just chilling right on the shoulder. Favorite look, one of my favorite looks. So they go into a little back and forth as rivals and peers as they figure out that they're just yelling back and forth, and Luffy kind of rubs it in their face that he's an emperor. But then we finally get to hear about at least a little modicum of who and what is going on with this guy. Who is this guy? Oh my God. I can't explain how excited I was by myself looking at this in my house. I was losing my mind. Thoughts?
So the new Cross Guild, led by my favorite, Buggy, which also includes my absolute favorite, probably, of all time, is Dracul Mihawk, Hawkeye Mihawk, followed by...
my favorite, Sir Crocodile. So we have Buggy the Bombastic Clown, Dracul Mihawk, and Sir Crocodile all working together under a faction known as Cross Guild. And I gotta say, I don't think I could have asked for a better anything.
Yeah.
This was... I couldn't fathom asking for this.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think I would ever get it.
How could you ask someone to bring together your favorites? It feels like fan service.
Absolutely.
In the best way possible, where it's hey, do you remember everyone's favorite, either, not even one-offs, it's just you see them and then they're gone, and then, they pop up again, maybe they're in prison, and it's all right, well, they did their thing, they're gone now. I was actually just saying about Dracul Mihawk, where he was on his island, and I was I hope we see him again.
And I was saying that it's been 12 years since we've seen Crocodile actually do something.
Yep.
And this is the closest to doing something I think we've seen Crocodile.
Yep.
And it's insanity. The picture looks fantastic. It is the background on my phone currently.
Yeah, I need a printout of this.
Buggy looks like some Twisted Metal skull face.
Oh, Twisted Metal, yeah.
Yeah, he looks insane here. He looks so good, and the whole poster is fantastic. I would love to have this full poster print just on my wall. We need it for the set and for anything else we can do. But this is just insane, and it's the only thing we get, because as soon as we move on to the next thing, it's just Luffy reacting to the same way we are. Crocodile and Hawkeye, they're working under Buggy. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Now, I do have a theory about this. I saw this somewhere else, but it definitely has a lot of legs, and I could definitely build into it. And I did mention it to you a little bit. I think that Crocodile is the one who's actually running the entirety of this organization, where Dracula Mihawk is the muscle to then impose the threat of it all. And then Buggy is literally just an empty balloon that is just floating above the rest of them.
He's the charisma.
It's insane how cool this is. It's like we have the guy who ran the best underground network, the guy who is the strongest blank, and that particular blank happens to be a primary means of combat. And then Buggy the bombastic clown. I can't believe that.
Buggy is intelligent. Buggy is intelligent, but he is not above being the face of an organization.
Yeah.
He wants to get out there.
He really does. And it's just, do you think they actually like discuss? Do you think that they have any meetings, or do you think that these three entities really just act on their own accord?
Oh, I really hope, in like my heart of hearts, I really hope that like my favorite characters are like getting together and like actually having meetings. Are they? Probably not. But like in my head, absolutely they are. Like they are meeting regularly, and like Buggy's going off, and then you have Dracula, Hawkeye Mihawk in the corner, scowling. He's like, "Welcome to Hot Topic." Like, pins are like 2 for 1. You know what I mean? Like really like edgelording it. And then like Crocodile is just like there chewing on, his cigar, and like he's actually like doing the legwork for everyone. You know what I mean?
Like he's actually doing paperwork.
He's actually doing paperwork. Yeah. While like Buggy's just going off, in the corner about how great he is. I mean, I love him. He is very intelligent. He is, a fantastic inventor. But like, I mean, also, what is he really doing in this?
You're right. He really is just the face. Yeah. I love this. Okay, let's keep going. Zoro mentions that he can't see Hawkeye doing that. If he's capable of commanding men like this, then he's definitely worthy. Oh my gosh. Law's sitting here not really understanding who or what Buggy is, because Law's only interaction with Buggy was when he told Buggy to throw Luffy and Jinbei onto the submarine. Yeah. That's the only interaction.
That's the only interaction that he's had.
Which, all things considered, Law, from the perspective of Law in the war, that's a probably big move. Yeah. There's this guy who is actively participating in the war.
And also known. Buggy is known.
Yeah.
He has a wanted poster.
And
at the
we now
very
know
least.
that he runs with he ran with Roger.
Yeah.
And he has all these people with him, and he's working on the side of the Luffy and Jinbei, another a warlord.
So from his perspective, looking like a big shot.
Yeah. Buggy was a big shot in that war, which is how he became a Shichibukai.
Yes.
So he misinterprets it, saying that then he's definitely a worthy new emperor. But Luffy, unable to parse his words and think through, he just says, "Trust me, he's a moron. What the heck happened?" Luffy, no, we get it. Luffy, in the last 3 panels, you have only said what we're feeling.
Yes.
And it's insane that you're disgusted and we're in love with it.
Yes. I mean, from his perspective also, he was just made, so it's like, why is Buggy on the same, plane as me now? Like, why is he also important? I guess I would be insulted a little bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like, I beat Buggy. How are we, but
then the most important and also an incredibly baller move. Mm-hmm. Whatever it was, Kid says, it seems this cross guild of his is issuing bounties on Marines. The Uno reverse card has been flipped. Now those Navy dogs have to watch their backs too. The hunters have become the hunted. This is so interesting and weird and wild, because now what we really get is just so many different active entities opposed to the Marines now.
Yes.
Like not just like the Marines are out here to, keep the peace and keep the order. There are several factions now that are actively seeking to depose Marines and mess them up. Which to me reads into some really, really cool future battles.
Yes.
Whether they're on screen or off screen, to be seen. Well, I guess not to be seen. I guess to be something.
To be something. To be heard of. But I like the little bit of exposition here, and I like how it was just like the poster, and it's like, oh, they're actively hunting Marines, and it's like Buggy once promised that, or the Marines. He actively once promised that. Had he the means, he'd go all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here he is. He has the means.
He has the means.
And now he is beyond the memes.
Yes.
Broke through the memes and now has the means. He is out here to defeat the Marines. We can see that the copy of the poneglyph has been moved and given to Kid as well, because he earned it.
Yes.
They were all there to beat Kaido.
That's his reward.
And so Killer goes on if we want to stay ahead in the scramble for the One Piece, we ought to get serious about that guy. You want to go after the man marked by flames, but we've got no leads. Marked by flames, what are you talking about? Pretty big here. So two people come to mind when he says man marked by flames.
We did not previously discuss this, but I want to see who you think, because I have two leading ones, but I want you first.
Okay, I'm going to go with my one because I think you'll have the other then.
Okay.
So I am inclined to believe that the flamed person in this scenario is Aokiji.
Oh, no, that is not what I had. Oh, okay.
So Aokiji, now in my reasoning for it, and more particularly because Robin has a question mark pop up by her.
That's right. Okay.
And Aokiji left the Marines out of a sense of that they were not as good as he wanted them to be. You know, they were lawful, but they weren't good. And they weren't good in his eyes. And some atrocities he's been a part of, one in particular, is the Buster Call, or whatever you want to call it, of Ohara. And the loss of so many languages and things that are out there in the world. Now, what could Aokiji be doing in this, the 2 years that we didn't see what he was doing, and then everything he was doing aside from the time that we saw him in Dressrosa and that one time we saw him in a hot tub in one of the movies, that was movie Z. So
besides those experiences,
what could he possibly be doing? And also to be doing it under Blackbeard.
Yep.
Now, we know that he hasn't been ham-fisted to us showing like, oh, there he is. He's part of Blackbeard's people, because they have no issue showing us a bunch of people that are part of Blackbeard's people. We just know that he's affiliated with them. So my theory is that Aokiji is allowed to operate with a certain amount of freedom, both by his previous titles, he just is a notable person, and also having the I work under Blackbeard, get out of my way ticket.
Yeah.
Because Blackbeard is also someone who seems to be somehow knowledgeable about ancient histories in some way. We don't know how. We're going to find out.
Knows a lot of secrets.
Yes.
Knows a lot of things he shouldn't be privy to that he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Aokiji is trying to both, I think he's trying to rebuild Ohara and like get those knowledges and informations back. So if they're on a mission to go to the One Piece and the poneglyphs are a big part of that, perhaps Aokiji has some tie-in with some kind of poneglyph, or is the character by which this crew can actually read the text the same way that we have Robin who can read the text.
Yep. You fully convinced me.
Well, let's hear what yours was.
Mine was Dragon.
Okay, so I want you to know my first gut punch instinct was also Dragon.
Yeah.
You give your reason, and then I also think I can either build on it or I have my own reason for it as well.
It was I had two. It was Dragon or low hanging fruit was Sabo.
Yeah, Sabo was the low hanging fruit.
Sabo was the low hanging fruit, where it was like, I guess that's like the first person that I thought of, and especially we just mentioned him last chapter. So I was like, all right, maybe it's going to be Sabo, but I thought Dragon, because I was like, who hasn't been here for a very long time? And you see on the side of him, he is, I don't know if it's necessarily like a tattoo, but he is marked by flames. So I was like, Revolutionary Army leader. I was like, we haven't seen him in a while. And I was like, we have to bring everyone together somehow. That was it. It was a loose, I was grasping at straws. I was thinking, who could it be? And like, again, Sabo was the easy one. But then I was like, Dragon, right?
Yeah, and I can build on that for you.
Please.
And might be able to turn your convincing from Aokiji to Dragon. I liked that Kid, even though it was all off screen and was directly like mentioned to be implied, that Kid and his little crew of like Alliance people who all felled by Kaido were actually going after red-haired Shanks. And so if we then turn it around and in this scenario here, say he's going after Dragon, this falls a form-fit writing kind of thing that Kid is always after, or has been consistently after, Luffy's father figure.
Oh,
because Shanks,
I like that
Shanks
a
is
lot.
Luffy's father figure, and then Dragon is Luffy's father. And now we know that the Kid has issue with two different people. Potentially, there could be that tie-in.
I like that a lot.
It's also a stretch.
You know what? But I
good.
like it because it feels good, and also because of literary analysis, right? And it's supported literally by his I don't know, raison-faire, like where it's like that's his agency, right? We see him going after Luffy's father figures, so it would be on brand.
Yep, he's always been a character that has been posed as a peer and rival to Luffy, but has always been notably mentioned to be doing something despicable or something that would be against something that would be against the mentality and morality that our boys and girls have. And so if he would be going after Luffy's fathers, quote unquote,
Yep.
I feel like that'd be a pretty good tie. And Sabo, yeah, the low-hanging fruit. I feel like if it is Sabo, I'm fine with it.
I would be fine with it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be upset.
not too worried about it. So he mocks them for not knowing what he's talking about, and then we see that Kinemon and Momonosuke are still looking for everyone. In particular, they found Yamato. As they say, "Are you gone too, Yamato?" And they respond, "Not yet." Oh, on the roof. Yeah, I've made up my mind. I'm about to head over to Luffy and the gang. It's finally time for me to live like Odin did. What does that mean?
I was hoping joining the crew.
See, I like that idea.
Yeah.
I like the idea of her joining them joining the crew.
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen either.
But I was kind of like when I read that, I was like, oh. But then I'm like, what do they bring to the table? I mean, like power, strength, yes. But I mean, like, you know, maybe like sail for a little bit, maybe like leave. But like final arc, like how are we going to like tie that in? You know what I mean?
And we also have 10 members of the crew, and Luffy had mentioned wanting a member, like a crew size of 10 people.
Yeah.
And we are established that there are alliances and auxiliary crew that are now part of the grander scheme and the grander fleet.
Yep.
So
you can be part of the crew and not be on the ship.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And so with that, we will see what Yamato is up to next chapter, and hopefully they'll give us some more about Cross Guild. I don't think we're going to get it next chapter, but all in all, absolutely love this chapter. I don't think we got as much information as we did like in 1054.
No, this was a wrap up. This was not an info
Absolutely.
dump. We had info dump already. This felt nice. This was just a nice tie-in. This is where everyone is currently. We've made our peace. We've said goodbye to Wano. We've said goodbye to most of the people in Wano. And also now again we're leading with this is what's going on right now in like the world. Right, with the Cross Guild, everything like that, that's leading us to like our next destination, and also, actually, we're being led to our next destination with the
log poses.
With log poses, exactly.
Yes. All right. I think that was a nice little wrap up we had there, and this was overall a very decent chapter. I would give it a 1056 out of 1056.
I was happy with it.
Yeah.
I was.
All right, then. Well, thank you guys for joining us again. Keep an ear out and an eye out for some of our reaction content that isn't One Piece related. We will be probably recording something that maybe will catch you guys sooner than later. Again, I was Christian, otherwise known as _Noomies, and my co-host,
Jesse,
otherwise known as
the Great Cat's Bay.
And you have been listening to the News Crew, blah, blah, blah.
The News Crew Podcast.
Thank you guys so much.